Welcome to Kawayan Cafe, where every sip serves a tale and every tale weaves the bamboo heartbeat of the Philippines. This is Rika, your host. Dive in as we unfold the lush stories and sustainable trails of our beloved bamboo landscapes. Mabuhay listeners! Today we're journeying through the architectural tapestry of the Philippines, from the iconic Bahay Kubo to the bamboo skyscrapers of our imaginations. Joining us to delve deeper into this topic is my good friend and Bamboo Bootcamp co-founder, architect Jed de Guzman, with profound insights on the bamboo's role in our architectural landscapes. So,
Yep.
hi Jed, how are you?
Hi, Rix, all the way from Quezon City to Davao for this podcast.
Great. I'm so happy to see you online since I didn't really get to see you in Davao. We were
Mm,
separated. So I'm gonna get started. All right. So we're gonna start, Jed.
mm-hmm.
Our journey begins with the emblematic Bahay Kubo, a symbol of Filipino ingenuity and adaptation. In your opinion, how does bamboo play into this?
Well, Bahay Kubo is a Southeast Asian icon, particularly as a reaction to climate. Meaning, whatever material is available, so you have bamboo, you have grass, nipa, you have palm, you have wood, and anything that was available way, way, way back before by our ancestors is the one that we use for our construction. And bamboo is just a part of it. Although with the intrinsic property of bamboo, it's round, it's very light, and it's abundant. We have seen prevalent use of it in most of the indigenous architecture in the Philippines. And this is you can see this with our Filipino Bahay Kubo. Particularly, the form is the same throughout all Southeast Asia, but the adaptation or use of the Bahay Kubo, the one room all use, the way we expand for extended family, those are the things that you will always see. And bamboo plays as a materiality through abundance that can be used for these types of structure.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you added this to the design module, the different kinds, and then like how we used it and the evolution of the Bahay Kubo
Yep.
over time and then its uses. So it actually relates to my next question, which is from Luzon to Mindanao, our archipelago is a canvas of diverse architectural designs. Like, we've always heard like, okay, I want Bali or Indonesian
Yep.
inspired, but then we've actually seen how like the Bahay Kubo there is a Bahay Kubo, everywhere in context. So how have different regions infused bamboo into their vernacular structures, you think, like looking at all the three islands of the Philippines?
So I guess the story would be driving around the Philippines, from Luzon North and then Visayas, the mid of the Philippines, and then Mindanao, these clusters. Oftentimes, if you drive, you will see utilization of bamboo left and right, from fence all the way to the Bahay Kubo houses, or some modern houses that infuses bamboo as their material. Now, in the architectural design, there's two ways of looking at it. One is historically, way back 100 years ago, and then the contemporary one. So the first one is historically. In the northern part of the Philippines, you will see bamboo being used almost without windows, or small windows and then small eaves. You can look at this with the Batanes houses. They use bamboo for their nipa and or kogon roofing. And then for the Ifugao architecture, they use bamboo together with wood for their bale, or traditional Ifugao houses in the uh, Banawe rice terraces. And then if you go lower, at Midlands, now you will see the Bahay Kubos. Often you see it in farm settings. And the way they use bamboo is it's replaceable without treatment. we have this penchant of this is temporary shelter. I can always take it down. Even if a storm brings it down, we can rebuild it because it is abundant. And then you go all the way to Mindanao. In Mindanao, it still has a strong sultanship, or the sultans in Mindanao, very untouched, pretty much by American and other colonial countries. But the use of bamboo there is pretty much the same with Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. However, the catchphrase here is, are we still seeing these vernacular structures alive? So the answer would be not much, since traditional treatment, they use that traditional treatment, it has lasted, but not all of the structures. So the documentation is still much needed in order to see all of the structures from the zone all the way to Mindanao. So we have a few books depicting this from architect ni Encarnacion Tan and some of the other arkitekturang Filipino narratives that we see. Yeah, and some written and even oral tradition, the Bahay Kubo song, nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
So from that, even to food, so all of it, there is expressions of bamboo all over from Luzon to Mindanao.
Wow. I mean, calling all young architects, this is definitely like a research opportunity for those that are interested in indigenous materials, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
like you said, documentation is scarce. So I think that to keep it alive, to keep all of this alive, we really need to encourage and motivate our young budding architects that are into this to get into it and start looking into it. Now,
Mm.
Jed, we've seen bamboo form the foundation of traditional homes. But how does its legacy echo in contemporary Filipino architecture? And can we really envision bamboo soaring in our skylines? Can we actually see a bamboo skyscraper in the near future or even the foreseeable future?
So if you compare our bamboo architecture landscape here in the Philippines versus the ones that are globally available, for example, Bali, Vietnam, Thailand, uh, the use of bamboo has been echoed in the core culture. This applies to all of Southeast Asia. However, the expression of technology is quite different. So, for example, in Hong Kong, they use it for skyscraper scaffolding. It is a licensed profession there in Hong Kong. In Bali, Indonesia, it is my pet peeve whenever I hear, can you make this Bali structure here in the Philippines? So I often get very peeved about it. But the thing is, we are now seeing larger structures structurally supported by bamboo with these contemporary styles in Bali, in Thailand. Now in the Philippines, there is a limit on how high we can do structures, specifically because of the climate, meaning you have typhoons, you have earthquake. However, the intrinsic material property of bamboo kind of adapts to this. And we are now seeing more Filipino architects, engineers, and even DIY builders reaching more heights constructing with bamboo. So I think building confidence, and then the global influx of information for bamboo. So whatever we are doing here in the Philippines echoes throughout the world. All at the same time, we may not know each other, but people are using bamboo in more innovative way, because again, you can compare it to a steel pipe, but organically available. So whatever a steel pipe can do, bamboo can do. But innovation on how to join it, how to treat it, how to better protect it from the elements, UV exposure, and then to insect borers, this will be key in the proliferation of bamboo, specifically for Philippine architecture. But then again, what is Philippine architecture? The identity of that, we don't have, for example, if you go to Bali, you have a picture in your head what is a Balinese architecture. If you say Japanese architecture, you have a picture in your head what is a Japanese architecture. If you say Chinese architecture, you there is that clear picture. But then again, if we say Filipino architecture, what picture comes into mind? If we say Bahay Kubo, I would digress and say it's the same with all the Southeast Asian countries. What again is Philippine architecture? So from icon to utility, there is that how do you call it? Uh, we need more definition of it by example, or maybe I don't know. We're reaching realms of obscurity when we're talking about this. Eh?
That's a whole nother episode.
Yep.
So, we're talking about Bahay Kubo, but I will return to this episode. I think it would be nice if we had a panel. So
Mm.
I have an idea of who to put in this panel. So watch out, guys. We're going to be talking about this sometime in the future about
Let's do critic ba? Let's
I think
critic some ano.
it deserves its own episode. So Jed,
Mm,
the narrative of bamboo doesn't end at the threshold of Bahay Kubo.
of course.
How has modern Philippine design elevated bamboo from rustic to revolutionary?
All right. So this is ano in the past 10 years, I think more Filipinos are gaining confidence in using bamboo for structural use, with the prevalence of or the shortage of wood in the Philippines, specifically with the DNR, Department of Environment and Natural Resource moratorium. You cannot cut trees anymore, specifically native trees in the Philippines. People are looking into alternatives, and then bamboo plays a role in this. And now we are seeing more Filipino architects using it in different forms. So we have expressions of vernacular architecture being transformed to contemporary, meaning you are seeing more structures that are Bahay Kubo inspired, but then with a contemporary taste or contemporary call it a contemporary angle to it. And you're seeing structures that are 12 meters high, 16 meters high, all made of structurally holding bamboo, and modern joineries, or even modern techniques for finishing. And now you see large structures made of steel, and then large structures made of bamboo. It creates a contrast, um, and more people are seeing the future of bamboo being used. Um, and I guess if you paint it in the context of the Philippines, not all will be using bamboo. Maybe 90% bamboo structures. I think the Filipinos are preferring maybe 60 to maybe 50% of their structures as bamboo, or only critical structural parts will be bamboo. Or we go back up to 20 years before, where we only see bamboo being used as decorative or cladding for as aesthetic part. And compared to the architectural scene right now, more and more can be seen. If you go to expos, if you go to furniture shows, you are seeing more bamboo, and even the government is supporting the use of bamboo. So there's nothing stopping bamboo from being used as a material specifically for construction, or the other hundredfold uses for bamboo.
Yeah, I mean, Amy of Kawayan Collective was even saying that there are more bamboo uses for bamboo than the supply.
Yes.
So
Again,
again, that's for another episode.
the
Yeah,
supply
that's a
chain of
whole
bamboo, Ricks.
yeah, I know, I know. So, I
Mm,
mean, this is really exciting, right? Like, at least more and more people are open to using this material, and more people are finding ways on incorporating it to their builds, which, this is why there is really a huge potential for bamboo, definitely in architecture and construction. So, one of the biggest concerns with using this material is because our islands, the Philippines, is not really a stranger to nature's wrath. So we have amidst the earthquakes and typhoons. In your opinion, how does the bamboo stand tall?
So if you think about it, specifically in the Philippines, bamboo, we use a lot of clumping bamboos. These are bamboo that stands that are always together, bunched up into maybe 20, 30, or even for 40 poles at a time. And when winds pass through these bamboo clumps, they tend to support each other by clumping, or they can bend with the wind, or they can cluster up together in order to break the wind. So that naturally is the way bamboo adapts to this climate or to these weather conditions or phenomenons. Even during earthquakes, it's just gonna shake. And this also translate to how we use it in our structures. So if one bamboo is not enough, we combine it. And then in reaction to earthquake, by combining it, because it is very light in comparison to steel and even concrete, much of the structural system can withstand earthquakes, with, albeit there will be movement, there is movement is expected, but it's not going to be a danger to anyone who is living inside a bamboo structure. And for wind, of course, traditionally there are two ways of approaching storms or winds in the Philippines. It's either you let the wind pass through, just like bamboo clumps, or you create shields. It can be through landscape, it can be through solid walls, or even construction methodologies in creating more sturdy walls. And bamboo plays an intrinsic part of this as a structural component. Very light, very strong, one-third of steel, and then compressive strength around 3,000 psi for certain species of bamboo. But technology will play a part for this. And the reactions to climate and all of this uh, typhoon, as long as you see a clump of bamboo, naturally how it uh, reacts to these elements is actually how it will react when it is installed in construction.
Wow. I mean, I love the comprehensive answer, which means that it can react to anything, all of these like natural disasters, as long as, I mean, you're obviously knowledgeable about how uh, typhoons and earthquakes, how it affects a structure. And then knowing about the bamboo, because then you would have to put two and two together, right? Like, what is the effect of this disaster, and what is the characteristics or the properties of bamboo, and then how do you combine both so that it actually works and not like it's not like detrimental, right?
There's an intuitive quality when you're working with bamboo. It has challenged a lot of the knowledge I learned from school or for practice using conventional concrete, steel, and glass. And when you're working with bamboo, it kind of teaches you how it wants to be, and it is a humbling experience. And the strength of it, that is what floored me into pursuing this material in my practice in architecture.
And a lot of the stuff that you're talking about is from experience and not necessarily theoretical from when you went to school, right?
Yeah, so a lot of this, gonna be able to read it. And for me, I pursued this. Of course, I studied in Bamboo U in Bali, Indonesia, in to get more extensive knowledge about this.
So Jed, thanks for that.
Mm.
Thanks for that very in-depth answer about our nature's wrath. In an era of climate consciousness, bamboo is often hailed as the green champion. What initiatives are paving the way for a bamboo-rich Philippines?
So in the Philippines, if you think about it, of course, there is the government, and then there's private initiatives. In the government initiatives, we have a lot of these national government agencies, local government units that have, number one, we have researches on bamboo from DOST, DTI, and then number two, propagation and a lot of planting. You have the National Greening Program, where 20% to 40% of these initiatives of reforestation use bamboo for throughout the Philippines. And then you have Department of Agriculture turning bamboo into a high commodity or a cash crop. And then priority for DTI is the products being developed made of bamboo. So in the government, there is all of these initiatives being done. It's more exciting to venture into bamboo during this time. And then
Yeah.
you have the private. Of course, us in Bamboo Bootcamp, we're doing a lot of bamboo education, talking about the supply chain all throughout Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And you have a lot of other private companies selling bamboo products, teaching people how to propagate, and all of the offshoots that can be done with bamboo. And it's now more exciting to be in bamboo, but hopefully we answer the most dire need for us, specifically, of course, for people that are using bamboo in the smallest size, meaning small arts and crafts trinkets. They will not experience any shortage of bamboo, but us in the construction industry, there is shortage for bamboo. We use bamboo in the thousands for just one structure. You're talking about 100 bamboo poles per 10 square meter, or one square meter is equivalent to 10 bamboo poles. So um it paints a picture on how each industry is looking at the bamboo supply. And some may feel it is abundant in them, but for us in the construction industry, we are feeling the need for more bamboo supply, and the impact it will do for the construction industry.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 3 years, we've seen such an increased demand, like even just from people that are in our realm, people that we know that are always
Mm.
kind of looking. That's why I mean, I'm really pushing for more propagation. And I think that people need to really need to learn how to identify, you know, the right bamboo, or, I think it's, I always tell people always tell me like we have a lot of bamboo, and then they don't really know what it is, right? Like what kind it is, or they weren't even aware that there was more than one variety. So I
Yep.
think that part of like widespread knowledge of, okay, people, these are the 10 commonly seen bamboo species in the Philippines. This is what it looks like. This is what to look for. So at least initially, people, everybody can identify what kind of bamboo it is, because we have a list of things each variety is good to use, and like maybe ways on how to tell if they're ready or what their uses are for. Because I remember in one of the uh, workshop in the modules that you say, okay, for every age there's a different use, for every species there's a different use,
Different
and then for
views,
every part of each pole there's a different
it's a
use.
different
So that's
views.
like 9 different variations that you have to know about: the variety, which part of the bamboo it is, how old it is. And once you know that, or at least that's common knowledge to everybody, then we have a starting point of really knowing what kind of supply we have within our reach. Because before, we have fantasies of, okay, I want to build a structure. Like basically where I'm coming from is I wanted to build the structure, but then I didn't have the bamboo around me, and
Mm.
I really didn't know what kind was around me, or I didn't have the tools to let people around me know, okay, if this is what you have, this is what we're going to do with it. Or you know what I mean? It would have been easier. Now that I know what I know, then I have a whole different idea of how to go about it. But like, when people tell me, okay, I have a lot of bamboo, the first question is find out what kind it is.
Like a bamboo.
We can start developing a project based on that, and then mobilizing people out there like bamboo hunters to find out how old they are, take pictures of them. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to strategize on what to develop if you have these steps, like kind of if you know these steps beforehand. Anyway, I'm just
Yeah.
rambling.
For a layperson, Rix, this bamboo, once you cut the branches, it's all dried, it's yellow. All of this bamboo, they categorize it as they call it bamboo or kawayan. Everything is the same for them.
Oo
But
nga.
again, with this and with this knowledge that we are trying to share with everyone, the complexity of how to approach this material, is actually what makes it fun and
Yeah,
hard at the same
it's
time.
exciting, it's fun, it's frustrating, it's kind of like a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes.
And
It
so,
it challenges it challenges a lot of how we approach a material, and like the myriad of uses, the myriad of approach on how to solve. So people that thrive in problem solving are actually very adept with using bamboo. And we see this in a lot of the innovations being done globally and even in the Philippines on how to approach this. And it's really, really exciting
yeah,
what the next 10 years is gonna be, especially when all of this bamboo propagation efforts bear fruit 10 years from now. So hopefully we will be sitting again in one of Kawayan Cafe sessions and talking about more advanced more advanced stories on how bamboo in the Philippines has been.
yeah, well, I look forward to that. And
Mm.
again, this is an open invitation to whoever is listening right now who loves to solve problems or have a knack for puzzle making or puzzle
Yep,
things. Please join our bamboo tribe. We welcome you.
yep.
Anyway, so, from foundations to futuristic facades, can bamboo redefine our urban landscapes? What's the potential and what are the challenges?
Okay. So here's the thing. With any, I will quote Luis Felipe Lopez with this. With any innovation, innovation precedes regulation. So we have a lot of need for bamboo. People are innovating, and then our government, LGUs, and lawmakers will be placing regulations for this. And these regulations will impact how the industry or bamboo will be tackled on, from the smallest utilization to construction and all the way to very capitalistic approaches to bamboo. And what's the potential here? Potential is this billion-dollar industry being what do you call this? Market share being majority China, and then 15% of it, of that $74 billion industry, and then 15% is being shared by Philippines and all of the other bamboo rich countries. Uh that is the potential for this domestically, how we use bamboo, and then potentially globally. You have a lot of what do you call this? Internet commerce, or online shopping. There's that potential, and the challenge here is sustainability, meaning one of the ecological impacts with the UN 17 as Sustainable Development Goals. So yes, we will be planting bamboo, but are we planting it the right way? Are we are we going for monocropping? Are we making the same mistakes as how we planted the farm trees here in the Philippines, the mahogany, the gemelina, and all of these fast growing trees that have affected the ecology here in the Philippines. So now, with all of these propagation efforts, I think how to approach it in a sustainable way, how to approach it such that the impact of bamboo in terms of the balance of ecology will not be detrimental to the diversity of the Philippines in terms of species, in terms of flora and fauna. And of course, people get excited
Yeah.
when we talk about how to earn from bamboo. But then a lot of these enthusiasts will not be thinking about how to ethically source it, how to propagate it properly so that you will not be damaging the environment. So I think for starting maybe from now, or we must think about how bamboo plays a role in the ecosystem and in the Philippines. and we should embrace how Philippines is. We are a diverse in culture, diverse in nature, diverse in the way we think, diverse in globally being being a global citizen in the world, with our service oriented economy. So these are the things that if not a potential for bamboo, but a challenge here in the Philippines when we are talking about bamboo.
Yeah, I mean, I love that how we've evolved. Like, I think with even with our conversations personally, like, in the beginning, you get excited, you see the
Yep.
potential, just want to plant a million bamboos without
Yeah.
about anything else. And then you start hearing about Ernst Gosh or even that lady with the earth.
Anna Herringer.
You
Yeah.
start hearing them talk and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Does it take an extra effort to add a sustainability factor to it? Like, because it's not something that you think about in the beginning because you just want to
Mm,
produce, right? Like you're a producer.
mm.
And then you
And bamboo itself, standalone is sustainable.
Yes. So you're thinking that, okay, if I plant a million bamboos, it's a million ways of being sustainable. But then you're not and then we're thinking monocropping. Yes. By doing that, we'd be making the same mistake we've done over and over and over. And then it's not actually it's counterproductive. But then
Mm,
you start thinking about it in a sustainable way where, okay, how do we make that attractive by not monocropping it or by not like planting a million? Instead, let's just plant half and then focus the other half into some.
mm.
So we're diving into sustainability, which is again another episode. Like we have 3 episodes from this conversation.
Of
I
course.
cut this short. This is only supposed to be a 20-minute show, but it's turning out to be an hour. But Jed, to wrap
Mm.
all of this up, I'm interested to hear what is your bamboo vision for the future and for the future of bamboo in the Philippines?
So for me, I want to see a reforested Philippines, meaning our forest cover has increased way, and then maybe 20 to 40% of this forest efforts we are seeing bamboo, and not just one bamboo, but a myriad of species, 40 species or more in these reforestation efforts. And these reforestation efforts also translate to economic activities whereby people are not alienated by these forests, but rather people are being provided by the forest, but at the same time, people are preserving the forest and giving value to this forest. Young generations will be playing in the forest, enjoying the trees, thereby having a connection with nature and taking care of it. And in terms of my profession, construction, I want to walk in a hardware or a MC Home Builders Depot and see bamboo products being offered that I can just buy off the shelf, and more local farmers benefiting from this supply chain. And I guess that for me will be the most hopeful future that I am seeing with our vision.
Ah, what a dream. I share the same dream as you. Thank you so much, Jed, for being
Okay, thank you, Rex.
here. Excited to see you in a few weeks. From its roots in our soil to its potential in piercing the skies, bamboo's narrative is intertwined with ours. Stay with us as we continue exploring more dimensions of our vibrant heritage. A heartfelt salamat to all, especially to Jed, Architect Jed, for your invaluable insights. Let's continue to discover, cherish, and champion the bamboo tales around us. Thank you for joining us on Kawayan Cafe. Let's not just admire bamboo, let's live it. Remember to subscribe, spread the word, and leave us some insights. Till next time, bambuhay!